Welcome everybody. This is Lotus Wolf Pod here, back again. I thought I'd make a continuation of the video I made yesterday about the introduction to the playlist I made, which was about Lana Del Rey and her mix that I made, the retrospective. I got some positive feedback about that, so I thought I'd come on and do like an outro after the fact and explain a couple of things that I didn't explain with the first video. And if you see there, it's hard, I got a slouch here, but there's basically I have my Lana Del Rey collection behind me, and this is basically going to be the conclusion to that. I'm coming here after I did the intro and I did all the videos that were on it. So the first thing that I wanted to mention was that I said it was going to be the first song on the mix that I made. If we can see it in there. Hopefully you don't get a glare in there. But actually the first song ended up being You Can Be the Boss by Lizzie Grant. But I thought for the tone of the whole thing, that really didn't really... I mean, it's good on the CD, but it's not actually good. You have to start with Born to Die. That's always where you start. So that's what I did. Born to Die, Off to the Races, and then I put You Can Be the Boss as one of the last tracks, and that actually worked pretty well on the YouTube playlist. Now, as I said, on the actual disc itself, it worked, but Born to Die has to be number one because that's like her greatest, best song there. And I added the Summertime Sadness song on there. It wasn't actually on the CD. And the thing is, a lot of people don't know about, there's always versions of songs, but that one in particular, the one that was on here, let's just go there, and as I'm talking about it, I'm gonna show you exactly what the cover looks like and stuff. So that song Summertime Sadness, the original one, which was Presto, was on here, but then the one that they made for the radio mix was totally different, and personally I didn't like it as much as the first one. So this was her first CD. I mean, putting the Lizzie Grant one out of the way, but she didn't really release that. So this is basically where it all started. And the thing is there's not one bad song on there, at all. I mean, it's so much that I bought. I got versions, copies. If I like something, I'll buy it more than once. And the only thing that I had against this album was the fact that it's really, it did this before. Hold on, let me get one of these. It's really easy for the disc. Oh, did you see that? It just popped right on out of there like nothing. And it's really hard to keep it in there. That's the only thing I had against this. And basically every song on this was spectacular, and everyone, at least 10 out of the 13 songs or so, were all singles, and I respect that when you make more than one song on an album a single. So basically it all started with Born to Die, and once I heard that, I'm like, not just her voice and stuff, it's not irritating, it's different than the girl singers you hear these days, but the production value and who did the instrumentals and the melodies and everything, and the beats were, some of them were pretty hard hitting and almost sound like something you would hear on a really good Eminem rap album or something. And which is funny because the producer of this actually did end up working with Eminem on a couple songs later on in his career. So basically that's where it started, with Born to Die, the original one. But then, I don't know if this is true or not, this is purely speculation, but then she re-released it. Born to Die, and call it the Paradise Edition. And this one is actually like, it's in one of the, it's in a CD cover and stuff, and it's like you can swing that around and it's not gonna fall out like the other one. Which, I mean, the cover art and everything was good, but like, if that's the only thing I had to say about it, I mean, every song, not one bad song on there. Usually there's not one bad song on any of her albums. So then she re-released it, Born to Die, which basically has like the whole Born to Die just the way it was on the original, but people might have been complaining because the CD kept falling out and it got scratched as hell or whatever. And she's like, all right, I'm going to re-release it, but this time there's always something. And us as Lana Del Rey fans really liked what happened, which it ended up being a second disc, was basically the EP, the Paradise EP, which had like 6 or 7 songs that weren't on the original Born to Die, which that is basically enough. If it just had those 6, 7 songs on it as an EP, I would have bought it. But it's cool because it also has the Born to Die, so if your version, your original version, got scratched, then now you have a version that isn't scratched, plus like 6, 7 new songs. And that's cool. Paradise version. So that's good to have for any Lana Del Rey fan. Now, for some reason, I acquired an opportunity to get like a big bad version, which was, I mean, it's basically the same version, but obviously you can see like this is like a CD, right? And this is like way bigger and stuff. And it has like a whole bunch of other stuff. It has like 3 more discs. It has more artwork. It has a whole bunch of like uh, posters and stuff in it. And it actually has a vinyl with a couple of unreleased songs on it. I could go through that forever, but it's going to make this video so long, and that's not why I'm here. I'm here to just basically explain the afterthought of this kind of mix that I really thought it was really like, it just came to me, and I'm like, could you really put like everything that's the most important right now up, and in her career on one disc that's 80 minutes? And that was a challenge, but it's pretty cool, all gold and stuff. But so that's basically where it started, Born to Die. Then you see this disc, I was just going to talk about a couple, like this video, I was going to talk about a couple of the things that were actually on the playlist. Now I'm ending up showing you like a whole bunch of like basically her albums. But I mean, that makes sense because they're all kind of right there, so I might as well, hey? Which brings us to her next album, which was Ultraviolence, and got some new producers and stuff, and they're just as good as on the first one. And like, I'm looking at the track list, but what's funny is she makes it the same kind of CD cover, but as you can see, it's harder for it to come out. So she perfected the fact that the first one, it was really hard to or I guess it was easy for it to come out. So now she's like, you know what, I'm gonna make it the same cover, but it's gonna keep the disc in better. But that's just whatever. So then you got a whole new album from her, Ultraviolence. And as I said, these albums, they have so many good songs on it. Like, that, I mean, they're all good, but I'm talking about like hit singles, like songs that you hear on the radio, songs she made for, like, that ended up being hit singles and stuff. At least like 10 of those first 2 or 3. Which brings us to, where are we next? this is the perfect location because I could put like a collection back there and then I could start talking about them and bring them to here. Then it was Honeymoon, and on the front it actually gives you like you can go to Hollywood and you could Los Angeles, California, and you can take the, I don't know, the celebrity tour or whatever, and she's actually representing for that, and it's actually got the phone number down there. So if you want to check that out, you're in Los Angeles or whatever, and you want to take a tour, maybe, it's a pretty cool car and stuff. Ask for Lana Del Rey, I don't know, but obviously they're with it because there's the phone number on there. But you got to do your own research. Just look up the album cover, right? And that's the next one. And then the one after that, she doesn't stop making songs or albums. This one was Lust for Life. And as you can notice, I mean, she's nice and stuff, but all of them have parental advisory. I'm just telling you, like, kind of what the first thing that comes to my mind from, like, looking at, her CDs and her collection and stuff, which was pretty good. And, so that's Lust for Life. And it's really funny because I got, like, most of the albums, but she is known for releasing so many songs that weren't on albums that you almost can't get them all. Like, more than any artist that I've ever, if I like an artist, I'll go and I'll, like, find all the songs that weren't on the albums and all that. Lana Del Rey puts out she must do like 3 songs a day, and releases albums, and then there's like hundreds and hundreds of songs, official songs that you can go on. I guess the only way you can do it is go on YouTube and check those out or whatever, or iTunes or Amazon, however you get your music, supporter. And this one, the next one, now this is my only time where I can probably, say it's called NFR, which was basically Norman fucking Rockwell, and that's the name of the album. Like, if you actually look at the side, and on the cover, it's funny trivia. That is Jack Nicholson's son with her posing, and he's also on the back as well. So that's pretty interesting. NFR, and that ended up winning a lot of awards that year at the Grammys and stuff. And for an album called NFR, right? We all know what that actually means and stuff. Norman Rockwell was a famous painter, and like, he did a lot of satirical kind of humor paintings and drawings and stuff. So to call it NFR, an album with nonetheless have Jack Nicholson's son on the cover, is kind of, it's trivia. I'm not telling you about every song, otherwise we'll be here. Maybe we'll make that another podcast or whatever. The next one we have here is, then she got some really long names for albums, and it's like Chemtrails Over the Country Club, and putting out at least one album every year or two approximately. So the next one, Blue Banisters, was made the exact same year as the last one I just mentioned, Chemtrails Over the Country Club. And this one, as I said, everything that she puts out is pretty much good. But for every album that she puts out, there's like, I swear, I'm not even exaggerating, like 100 or 200 songs each album extra. So I mean, and they're not on her channel. Like, you have to go and like find them, and I tried, trust me, it's like, oh, there's a couple of extra songs, and then it goes 10 songs, 12 songs, I swear. And then you get to like 70 songs, and it's like, that's just from this session. That's crazy. But, and the question arises, why don't you just release them on CDs, all those extra songs? Because most of them are really good as well. Now, maybe later on in her career, she could make like a box set that has like 2,000 songs. These are like all unreleased songs. So, I see we got one more in the back there, which brings us to the very newest one. And now, if anybody remembers the store HMV, this is an HMV exclusive. HMV is still doing its thing somehow, somewhere, because her new album got the HMV logo on it. Now, and you can see the parental advisory is kind of red, and that's cool. And to try and memorize the title of this album is, I'm not even going to try. It's called, Did You Know That There's a Tunnel Under Ocean Boulevard? Did you know that there's an ocean under Tunnel Boulevard? That's hilarious. So, those are the albums that I had, and most of the songs that I had on this and that you just watched on that playlist, which had an introduction by me as well, most of them are on there. And I'm just explaining anything that kind of wasn't on, like kind of out of order. Like as I said, the Paradiso Mix 2023 actually started with You Can Be the Boss, and then it goes to Born to Die. But I mean, it sounds good on the album. The unreleased old school burnt album, like always. But it was pretty good. It was one of the last CDs. I used to make a lot of CDs, and I don't make too many anymore because we're in that age now where like it's all on MP3s and stuff. But I still do it old school sometimes. But it was good on the actual disc. But I decided after my first video, which is the last video, of course, that if you know anything about anything, all you have to do is go back, and it's like the one before this that was introducing the Paradiso retrospective. And then right after that, I said, this is going to be the first song. And then it went straight to Born to Die and Off to the Races, which kind of made sense. And then You Can Be the Boss ended up being one of the later ones because, I don't know, it just made sense. And, like taking, especially the first two albums of hers, which like you could probably put 10 of each of them on here, and I had to like pick one or two. I'm like, I'll pick one or two songs, because I want to try to stay true to the whole 80-minute thing. And trust me, many hours of thinking, and I even did all my research and stuff. The only ones that weren't on the albums that I just showed you here were, of course, the Lizzie Grant album, which it's speculation if there's actually any physical copies of that. And lots of people really, really like that album, even before Lana Del Rey was who she was, or they liked her and then they figured that album out after. Either way. So, and then, she was notable for being on lots of, what do you call it? Like guest appearances and soundtracks. And one of the ones that made it onto this album, which I tried to, get something from every era or whatever, was the one from the Great Gatsby soundtrack. Will You Still Love Me When I'm Still Young or When I'm Not Young and Beautiful, which on that album there was two versions of it. So there's the orchestral version, and then there's the original. So the original one made it onto the mix, and that's like an unalbum track. And then what was the other one? I know there was one more. No, that's the only one. And then of course I ended it with that's probably one of the reasons why I wanted to make this video so much, is to explain why I put the songs that weren't on the albums on it. The very last song that just, I'm like, okay, so after the taco truck and VB, you got to have like just like a song that isn't on any albums, but something that just like, it's got to be a really good track, you know. And you know, I went through the library and stuff, and it actually wasn't that hard. It just, you know, it came to me, and then it was just like, you know, that song where she's like talking about a burning desire, and then it's like I looked it up, and there was only one or two versions of it, and I remembered it was the I don't want to get the name wrong though, Alcalino remix, and that's what I chose to end that with. So it goes pretty much minus the, like in chronological order, minus the You Can Be the Boss being number one. It actually starts with Born to Die. That one ends up being closer to the end, which actually makes sense on this YouTube playlist. So that's basically an explanation, I mean, of why I kind of put a couple of those where I put them. Like, you might have been wondering, you're like, well, why would you put that? You said it started with the first one, and well, it basically does. It always starts with, you know, like when it comes down to it, this album, Born to Die, you know. And I mean, the only thing I have that to say about it that's even slightly not good is the fact that the CD comes out of, see it, like the thing comes out of the cover, or let's just see, like really easy, see that? But she understood that and made the next ones not like that. But if you still have the original ones, that's cool too. You just have to take care of them, you know. I know if you're, you know, driving around in your car or playing it or whatever, and it keeps falling out, the CD's going to get scratched. But that is exactly why she would make something like, you know, the Born to Die Paradiso. No, mine's Paradiso. This is the Paradise remix, like with the extra EP. And then now you have the album again, the exact same album, but now it's not gonna fall out, you know. And if your old ones were scratched or whatever, they still look pretty and stuff, but now you got it, you know, in the actual, you know, cover where it's not gonna fall out, you know. If you take care of your CDs, it's not gonna fall out. And you know, stuff happens sometimes, but you know, it pretty much is in there really good, you know. And that's basically, you know, basically some trivia, I guess. It ended up being, I didn't know where it was going to go, but I thought I was going to do like an outro to this playlist and kind of explain some things, go through the albums, and just not necessarily talk about the songs on them necessarily, but talk about like the trivia things and things, you know, you might not have known, or why I put them on like that. Because I was really impressed with like just the track list, just like taking all of that stuff and putting it onto one CD. I always kind of like that, and you know, sometimes that's really hard to do, especially if someone has a lot of material out there for you to look at. And it's just like, I played it a couple of times on my player and stuff, and it's just like, wow, it's like going on the whole journey from like, I was 2010 to 2023. And basically then I'm like, you know what? What if I made this a track list on YouTube? Because I have a YouTube channel, I can make an introduction for it. So then I made the introduction, and now this is the, I guess, afterthoughts of this playlist that maybe you watched, and that's why, I mean, everybody's got their own preference of what album or what songs they like the best, or what should be, in a compilation or whatever. But this just happened to be the compilation I chose, and I thought it was really good. And like, you just watched all the videos, maybe, or at least looked and saw, that's a pretty good retrospective. And then I was talking about it at the beginning, and then I talked about it at the end here. And I wasn't going to go on a huge rant or whatever like I used to do, like about 3 or 4 years ago. I used to do podcasts all the time, and I thought, why not get back into doing podcasts? And it just happened to start out with this one here. You start getting me talking about things that I know about and stuff, and then you never know where it's going to go. And I like that. It's not rehearsed. uh, I just have the idea. I put all the CDs there, and I talked a little bit about each one, uh, but hopefully that gets the Lana Del Rey topic kind of, I got everything out that I needed to say about it. And then we're going to make some new videos as well. But definitely, if you liked any of those songs and you're just discovering Lana Del Rey's music, you should definitely go check out more of her songs, buy her CDs, buy them on iTunes, Amazon Music, and all that. Or check a couple out on YouTube that I didn't have on there. And if you like them, maybe you'll like certain albums of hers and be like, I want to go out and get that, or whatever. Support her. Maybe you'll go out and buy 5 of them. Maybe you'll go out and buy 10 of the same CD. Maybe you're so ballin', you'll go to your local record store and buy every Lana Del Rey CD that they have there, just for your collection. And you'll like have a whole like freaking stack of just like Lana Del Rey CDs. I endorse that. Either way, thank you very much. This is Lotus Wolf Pod. I hope it has been a little bit interesting, and I'm going to probably do more of these kind of things where I'm going to take just a subject and I'm going to talk about it. And, people who like it will watch it. People who don't like it, whatever, it's all right. But that has been the Lana Del Rey retrospective for the Paradiso mix that I made. And after talking about this, you might want to go and check out some of those songs again with that in mind, like of why I put them on there, and, check out other stuff, because everybody's doing their own thing. But maybe I'll bring her some new fans. So that's that, and hopefully you had a good time, like I had a good time hanging out with y'all. Um, and then who knows what's going to be next? It's just, we'll see what subject comes up. All right, thank you very much for sticking around, if you have, and hopefully you have a good day. Like, subscribe. I'm Lotus Wolf Pod, and you have yourself a good day. Love y'all. Peace out.